Welcome to another episode of this Volkswagen Bug. All the parts that are aftermarket for these things are really just poor quality. I know most people know, well, Volkswagens are cheap. They're, that. And this stuff is starting to cost real money now. I mean, almost $300 for a fender when they used to be like 25 bucks back when I was into Volkswagens. I know I'm old. But this running board that we're putting on, I mean, the metal feels good quality. The chrome or tin or whatever is nice. The rubber's decent, but the shape, it's like it jumped out of the stamp or something. And this corner is not stamped correctly at all, which makes a huge gap here and wants to really scratch the fender. So I'm going to go ahead and rebend this, and I just wanted to show you guys this stuff because it's kind of, you know, it's not right. Customers are supposed to be able to buy a part and bolt it on. And this is, this would really mess up somebody trying to put it on. They'd think they're either doing it wrong, like I've done 90% of the time on this, you know, struggle bug. But for this to be let go with quality control, they should look at it and go, no, that bend's supposed to be back here. So I'm going to show you guys how to straighten this. It's not a great video for you guys, but somebody that's struggling with this, it might be something, it goes with anything. I mean, fender might need to be tweaked or something like that. So I'm going to show you how I do it. It's probably not the right way to do it, but it's the way that it gets done for me. And if I can show somebody just a different idea, then it's worth doing a video on. At least I think so. Let's get started. Okay, so first off, we need to straighten out some of this bend. Now, I just using vice grips because I have them here. You could use pliers or whatever you got. We got to kind of straighten it out as much as we can. I mean, we're not going to be able to get it perfectly straight. We're not going to go too far in, but just enough to get this bend correctly. Okay. Now I'm going to take a hammer and a dolly and put it here and kind of hammer it straight so we're not fighting that bend. So let's go over what a hammer and a dolly is. Hammer, everybody knows. This is a Bodyman's hammer. You can get a kit like this at Harbor Freight for super cheap. So I don't say super cheap, super affordable. The dollies actually last a pretty decent amount of time. And I've reshaped them and done all different stuff with them because they're so affordable. Now this hammer was Grandpa's hammer. This hammer's helped build the Capitol buildings building, Capitol Records building in downtown LA. So this is my grandpa's hammer. So I love this hammer. It's one of those things, one of those tools. So the whole idea behind this is you'd never want to hit metal without something backing it. So putting this behind the metal and then hitting on it, it makes it take that shape. So if we wanted it to be round, we could put the metal on here and then hammer over this edge, and you could actually shape the metal to that shape. So hammering and dolly is designed to stretch metal. So that's what we're doing. We're stretching the metal. Let's go over what a hammer and a dolly is. Hammer, everybody knows. Now this is a Bodyman's hammer. So this is kind of designed for metalworking. It's rounded and squared for getting in different areas and doing different stuff. Some of them have a shape to them to where when you hammer it, it actually will stretch the metal more in certain areas or bow it. So if you're trying to get like a rounded shape, those are great for that. This one is real flat. This has a slight curvature to it. So that's what that does. This is a dolly. Doesn't look like a typical dolly, but she doesn't mind. These are real affordable at Harbor Freight. And They work really good. The Harbor Freight ones seem to work great. They are a little bit softer than some of the higher quality ones, but they get you by. It's basically you just need something to hold the metal from over flexing in the back. Plus, when you hit metal to metal, anything in between it will actually stretch. So that helps move the metal and tweak it the way you want. So what we do is put this in the back side of what we're going to be hammering, and then this goes on the front side, and we just sit there and ding, ding, ding. So let's get started. So we took the pliers, straightened that out the best we could. Now we can take a hammer and a dolly, put it on both sides. And you hear that high-pitched ting? That's what you want. You want that high-pitched ting because that means that your metal's actually straight and you're hitting both objects. Okay, we got some of that crease out. Probably the best we'll be able to get. I notice it's starting to slightly tear, so we have to watch that. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a bend to this. Vice grips work good. And I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a piece of metal here, and then it comes out and around. That down is right where that bend should have been. And we're basically, they were eighth of an inch off. So trying to get that to fit in between the fender pushed this part out, which was tight up against the fender, which made this area here a huge gap. So let's see what we can do. So now I'm going to take this and bend this right at that line. Let's continue that all the way down. So we're reshaping it a little bit. All right, so that's better. Now we have this pucker here that we have to hammer out. So that's where the rounded part of the dolly comes in. And we're just going to hit that pucker until it disappears. Now, if you don't have the dolly behind it, what you're going to do is you're going to bend the metal on the other sides of that pucker instead of basically forcing that metal to go into itself. All right, that reshaped pretty good. There's a little bit of a bump here, which what we have to worry about is it digging into the fender and ruining the paint job. Right, that's much better. And now the rubber actually fits the running board. Before, the rubber was completely on the wrong side of it. So I know it's a really short video, but should get you by. I know that's one of my shortest videos I've ever made, but it's just some information to get you by. We've had a lot of parts that on this Volkswagen that have come to where flanges need to be rebent and issues like that. I don't get it so much on the old American cars that I work on, but sometimes you got to tweak flanges. This will help with wheel wells and all different type of stuff. It's all the same thing. You're just reshaping a flange. And on these Volkswagen parts, it might be a thing. I don't know. I couldn't imagine a company putting out parts that need extra work. I'm sure it happens. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and check out some of my other videos. I know they're not all the same, but they're all different. And here comes the boat. I got to get on it. We'll talk to you guys later.